Hi，大家好，我係 Sherry. Hi everyone, my name is Sherry. I am an online Chinese language tutor. If you don't know about Cantonese language, this one, so let me simply introduce for you. When we learn about Chinese language, but actually we got two types of language. The first one is what we call Mandarin Chinese. Another one is Cantonese. And what's the difference? Most people in China, they speak Mandarin Chinese. They are normally located outside of Guangdong province. For example, Shanghai, they speak Mandarin Chinese. However, there is a place speak Cantonese as well. So Guangdong province is in the southern part of China. Macau and Hong Kong, they speak Cantonese as well. For example, you may heard about Yam Cha, Dim Sum, and these words are all from Cantonese language. And if you want to communicate with Cantonese people, or you want to know more about Cantonese culture, for example, their food, and in our online courses, we try to make everything as simple as we could. And this lesson is especially friendly for busy people. And if you are the busy person as well, so don't miss this lesson, and it's definitely for you. And our online courses is easily allow you step by step to follow up. Firstly, the courses are mainly around 5 minutes. The short lesson can help you to focus, to be less tired, and to understand the essential target language. Second, the courses include Jyutping pronunciation, useful phrases, grammar to help you structure your own sentences, and example conversations to help you understand small talk. More importantly, at the beginning of each lesson, a review session will be provided to help you self-test your learning progress. Finally, I highly recommend that we focus on consistency rather than watching many lessons a day. We could spend around 5 minutes while you are on the way to work or home, or repeat again to enhance your memory, which is better. What are you waiting for? Start to learn with me today, and I will see you later. Happy learning! Bye! Hi everyone, my name is Sherry. Welcome back to my classroom. Today we are going to learn greeting phrases. 今日我哋學 greeting 問候 How do we say good morning? 早上好 Good morning. How do we say good noon? Good noon is around about 11 a.m. and until 1 p.m. Those time we call noontime. And we say good noon is 中午好 Good noon. How do we say good afternoon? 下午好 Good afternoon. How do we say good evening? 晚上好 Good evening. How do we say thank you? We have two ways to say that. 多謝 Another way. 唔該 They are all mean thank you. How do we say you're welcome? 唔使客氣 You're welcome. How do we say I'm sorry? 對唔住 Sorry. How do we say excuse me? Or we could mean sorry. 唔好意思 Excuse me or sorry. But here, what's the difference between 對唔住 and 唔好意思? And 對唔住 is more likely to use when you make a big mistake or you feel very, very sorry. And this time we could say 對唔住. And for example, if you want to ask for help, and for example, ask for the direction, we could say excuse me. Or sometimes you maybe feel it's a small mistake, and then you say sorry as well. We could say 唔好意思,唔好意思. And next one, how do we say no problem? Or literally means it's not important. 唔緊要,唔緊要 means no problem or it's not important, literally. Next one, how do we say have a nice weekend? 週末愉快,週末愉快 have a nice weekend. How do we say goodbye? 再見,再見 goodbye. And how do we say no problem? And this literally means just no problem, this one. We say 冇問題,冇問題. Sometimes when you help somebody and that person say thank you to you and you will say no problem in English, we could apply this. And we say instead 冇問題,冇問題. But what's the difference with 冇問題 and 唔緊要? So when someone feels sorry to you, and you may think that's fine, no problem, we could say 唔緊要 because it's not important. And when someone say thank you to you, and you may say you're welcome or no problem in English. And in Cantonese, we say instead 冇問題,冇問題, and that's the difference. Next one, how do we say please may I ask? And literally means please ask. We say 請問,請問 please ask, or please may I ask. And that's what we learned for the greeting phrases today. And if you want to check your pronunciation, please go through again. And when you're ready, let's move to the next session. 再見, goodbye. Hi everyone, I'm Sherry. Welcome to my classroom. 大家好,我係 Sherry. Today we will learn pronunciation. And as we know, pronunciation will be consist of initial and final and tone. Today we will ignore tones and try to practice the pronunciation with initial and final together. This time will be a quick version to help you to differentiate the pronunciation. Today, let's go to the first one. Double A means try to pronounce them longer and slowly. And I will try to combine these initials together and we could practice all together here. Try to follow me when we practice them. I will pronounce each of them twice and try to practice after them. Ba, ba, pa, ma, fa, ta, ta, na, la, za, ca, sa, ga, gua, ka, kwa, nga. 哈哈哇哇呀呀I by pi my phi tai thai nai lai zai cai sai gai quay khai khoai ngai hai wai yai I by pi my phi tai thai nai lai zai cai sai gai quay khai khoai ngai hai wai yai ao mau phao tao thao nao lau zao cao sao cao khao ngao hao yao AAU. And just let you know, this very similar like this one, what we just pronounced. AAU, this final, just try to pronounce longer. Ao, bao, pao, mau, nao, lao, zao, cao, sao, cao, khao, ngao, hao. 大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we will learn another final here. A, we pronounce A, and how we combine this final with other initials there. A, be, me, fe, de, ne, le, de, che, se, ke. A, bay, pay, may, fei, bay, nay, lay, say, gay, k, hey. L, L, a little bit like L, that's one, but not that much. So we pronounce just L, bell, bell. E, me, ni, ji, qi, si, e, ew, bew, pew, mew, dew, tew, new, liu, dew, chew, sew, gill, kill, hew, ew. Hi everyone, I'm Sherry. Welcome back to my classroom. 大家好，我係 Sherry。今日我哋學 greeting sentences 問候嘅句子。First, let's try to recap last time what we learned. How do we say good morning. 早上好，早上好, good morning. How do we say good noon? Good noon is around about 11 a.m. and until 1 p.m. Those time we call noontime. And we say good noon is 中午好，中午好, good noon. How do we say good afternoon? 下午好，下午好, good afternoon. How do we say good evening? 晚上好，晚上好, good evening. How do we say thank you? We have two ways to say that. 多謝，多謝. Another way, 唔該，唔該. They are all mean thank you. Today we will learn some sentences. But first, let's try to have a look at pronouns. How do we say I or me in Cantonese? 我 means I or me. And how do we say you? 你 you. How do we say he, she, it, him, or her? We say 佢. Now we just learn 我 你 佢. Then let's try to have a look at the sentences. How do we read the right side one, the first sentence? 好高興認識你，好高興認識你 means nice to meet you. 高興 means happy. 認識 means to know. Then we had the pronoun 你 you. That's how we structure, and literally translation is very happy meet you. Now, next one, how do we say this? 你最近點啊？你最近點啊？ This means how are you recently? For literally translation, we say you recently how. So now you could see 點啊 means how it is or how. And we have 最近 means recently. And now you could hear that I say 點啊 try to connect together, and I won't say 點啊. We say something in daily, we try to make it quick. So that's why I try to connect them together. Plus, is more like a emotion things. It's not an essential here. So that's why we could connect together, make it light. Then let's try to have a look next one. How do you say this in Cantonese? 我叫 Nicole. 我叫 Nicole. I am Nicole. So 叫 this word means call. And next one, how do you say in Cantonese? 你叫咩名？你叫咩名？ This means what's your name? Now you could see the literally translation is you call what name? 你叫 means you call. 咩 means what. Man means name. Now try to think about that. How do we ask, what's his name in Cantonese? What's his name? 佢叫咩名？佢叫咩名？ What's his name? Now let's try to have a look at the last one. How do we say I am Nicole in Cantonese? 我係 Nicole. 我係 Nicole. This means I am Nicole. Hi, this word means to be in English. To be, or we could say am, is, are, like this. And then let's try to think about how to say he is Tom. 佢係 Tom. 佢係 Tom. This means he is Tom. Or you could say 佢叫 Tom. 佢叫 Tom. And that's what we learned today. Today we focus on 3 pronouns and several greeting sentences that you will say that in Cantonese when you are making new friends. And try to review them, and when you are ready, we will move to the next session. 再見！大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we learn a new final, O. And let's try to use this final to combine other initials together. Let's begin. O, bo, po, mo, fo, do, to, no, lo, zo, cho, so, go, guo, ngo, ho, wo, yo, oi, doi, toi, noi, loi, joy, choi, soi, goi, khoi, ngoi, hoi, o, bo, po, mo, do, to, no, lo, zo, cho, so, go, ngo, ho, u, fu, gu, ku, u, ui, ui, pui, mui, phui, cui, khui, ui, like what we pronounce for the English word further. Fur, we pronounce like this sound. De, ge, he. And let's start with this new final. How we pronounce? We pronounce E-O-I. This one is oi, doi, toi, noi, loi, joy, choi, soi, Goi, koi, hoi, yoi, yu, this one. And how we pronounce. Try to use your middle of your tongue to touch the top of your mouth inside. For your lip, try to make a small round O shape. Yu, zhi, qu, xu, yu. 大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we will continue greeting sentences. Last time we learned some simple greeting sentences, but we haven't introduced any grammar because we just try to get used to how we say hello and some short greeting sentences in Cantonese. Today we will simply introduce some of them, and we will step by step get started. Firstly, let's try to read this conversation. I will give you 10 seconds to have a look. Let's begin. Alright, let me read this for you. 你好，我係 Mike，好高興認識你。你好，我係 Alice，好高興認識你。你最近點啊？我好好，你呢？好好，多謝。你係邊度人？我係中國人。你呢？我係英國人。我係美國人。Well done to finish the reading by yourself first. And you could see from this conversation some of the short greeting sentences we already learned from the last lesson, right? For example, 你好 means hello, and 好高興認識你 means nice to meet you. And you could see some of them we haven't learned. Okay, so this time let me explain for you. Hi, this word means to be. 你係邊度人? This means where are you from in English. But this time I will also give you the literary translation so that you will know how we structure this question in Cantonese. 你 means you. Hai means to be. And 邊度 this word means where. Yang means person or people. And you could see based on this translation, we have the sentence here. You are where person. Now you could see here that's how we structure where are you from in Cantonese. But how we answer this question in Cantonese, for example, 我係中國人. And the literally translation is I to be China person. In other words, means I am Chinese in English. Now you could see it's very similar from the question what we just asked, yeah? And then let's move on to these keywords. Today keywords, we need to focus how to say I, you, he, she, it, him, her, and to be. Practice by yourself first. Let's begin. Try to review together. 我 So when I pronounce 我 here, you could see ng here, right? And with o. When we try to pronounce, try to use the end of your tongue to touch the top inside of your mouth. So that's how we produce the sound 我, not o just o sound. Okay, so 我 you 你 he she it 佢 to be hi Alright, now we have this word already, and let's try to extend it a little bit based on these words. It's very easy. How do we say we, us, you, the plural way, and they, them? I will give you 5 seconds. You could try to say that first. Let's begin. We, us, 我哋 you, plural, 你哋 they or them, 佢哋 and that's it. Now we will try to create some simple sentences based on this vocabulary. How do we say they are Americans? 佢哋係美國人。佢哋係美國人。She is Alice. How do we say this? Don't worry about the name Alice. We could just try to say Alice and try to translate the rest of them. I will give you 5 seconds to think about that. Let's begin. She is Alice. 佢係 Alice. 佢係 Alice. She is Alice. How do we say you are American? You are American. 你係美國人。你係美國人。And that's what we learned today. Today we learned some grammar and some new words from the greeting conversation. And if you're ready, let's move to the next lesson. See you later. 再見。Hello, 大家好，我係 Sherry. Hi everyone, I'm Sherry. Today, let me show you how I pronounce and how I position my mouth here, and so that you can easily to learn our nasal parts of our Jyutping syllables today. Let's begin. Thum, thum, num, lam, dum, tum, sum, gum, come, ngum, hum, yum. And the second one, thumb, thumb, num, lum, dum, tum, sum, gum, ngum, hum, bun, pun, mun, fun, dun, tun, nun, dun, tun, sun, gun, guan, kun, quan, 奀哼溫欣安班攀慢翻單攤難爛讚餐山間關啱慳彎 Hi everyone, welcome to my classroom. 大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we will keep learning our greeting parts. We will introduce a new grammar today. But first, let's try to simply recap what we learned from the last lesson. Last lesson, we learned these new words and they're very important in your daily. And how do we say this? I will give you 5 seconds. You could try to have a look. Let's begin. Let's review together. I, me, 我 you, 你 he, she, it, him, her 佢 we or us 我哋 you plural 你哋 they or them 佢哋 to be am, is, are hi. And that's what we learned from the last time. Today we will introduce you a new grammar. Ge. This is about the possessive grammar. And what does it mean? For example, my mom, my father, your father. So now you could see the possessive way here to introduce which is your mom and which is your dad, like this. Alright, but how do we use this one in Cantonese? Let me show you. For example, how do we say my in Cantonese? We say 我嘅means mine. That's how we structure the possessive grammar in Cantonese, because we already know how to say these subjects, right? And then let's try this. How do we say your? You could see your could be mean the single you or the plural way, yeah? And how do we say these two in Cantonese? Your 你嘅 for the single one. 你哋嘅 for plural way. And it's very easy, yeah? How do we say my dad? We say 我嘅爸爸 or you could say 我嘅爹哋 So how do we say my mom? We say 我嘅媽媽 or we could say 我嘅媽咪 It's up to you. How do we say his mom? His mom. 5 seconds. Let's begin. His mom. 佢嘅媽咪。佢嘅媽咪。This means his mom. How do we say our mothers? 我哋嘅媽咪。我哋嘅媽咪。You could see in English, mothers is the plural way, yeah? But in Cantonese, you can't feel any changes for the mother this word. And we won't change anything like adding s in English. It's the same word, the noun word, as usual. So that's what we learned today. Today we learned ge, this grammar thing for possessive way, how to say that in Cantonese. And if you're ready, let's move to the next session. 多謝, thank you, and see you next time. 再見. Hello, 大家好，我係 Sherry. Hi everyone, I'm Sherry. Today, let me show you how I pronounce and how I position my mouth here, and so that you can easily to learn our nasal parts of our Jyutping syllables today. Let's begin. Aang, bang, pang, dang, tang, nang, zang, cang, sang, gang, guang, kang, ngang, hang, wang, ang, pang, mang, lang, zang, cang, sang, gang, huang, ngang, hang, wang, and, lamb, and, bang, pang, mang, dang, tang, lan, dan, tan, sang, gang, han, yang. And that's it. If you're not sure, try to repeat one more time. I will see you next time. Bye bye. Jackie. Hi, welcome back. I'm Sherry. 大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we will keep continuing our greeting sentences session. Last lesson we learned ge, this, possessive grammar, and today we will introduce you a new character. Gyu, gyu. This means call or could be mean because. Okay. With these two words, we will try to learn a simple way to introduce someone's name. Alright. And how do we say that in Cantonese? Let me show you. For example, I am called Nicole, and we will say I am Nicole as well. How do we say this in Cantonese? 我叫 Nicole. 我叫 Nicole. This means I am called Nicole, or you could say I am Nicole. But normally, if you say Gil, this means you are the first time to introduce someone's name, and that's how we use that. But it's up to you. There are two ways you could pick one of them for yourself. How do we say my mom is called Nicole? And I will give you 5 seconds. Let's begin. My mom is called Nicole. 我嘅媽媽叫 Nicole。我嘅媽媽叫 Nicole。Or you could say 我嘅媽媽係 Nicole。我嘅媽媽係 Nicole. But today we will focus on Gil, this character, so let's try to use this word today. And then, how do we say my dad is called Tom? 5 seconds, let's begin. My dad is called Tom. 我嘅爸爸叫 Tom. 我嘅爸爸叫 Tom. This means my dad is called Tom. How do we say my dad is Chinese? So these sentences is try to introduce your dad is from China. And how do we say this in Cantonese? 我嘅爸爸係中國人。我嘅爸爸係中國人。This means my dad is Chinese. But for literally translation, this means my dad is China person. And that's how we explain in Cantonese way. And that's what we learned today. Try to practice by yourself and try to introduce your family or your friend in Cantonese. And if you're ready, let's move to the next session. See you later. Thank you. 再見，多謝。Hello， 大家好，我係 Sherry。Hi everyone, I'm Sherry. Today, let me show you how I pronounce and how I position my mouth here, and so that you can easily to learn our nasal parts of our Jyutping syllables today. Let's begin. 音 音 丁 听 ning 铃 金 清 心 金 kim him 音 in 音 冰 拼 min 丁 听 铃 金 清 心 金 king hin 音 ing ing bing ping ming ding ting ling, ding, ting, sing, ging, gwing, king, hing, wing, yang. On, gone, gone, ngon, ngon, hon, hon, ong, bong, bong, pong, mong, fong, dong, tong, nong, long, zong, chong, song, gong, guang, kong, quang, ngong, hong, wong. Now, these parts, we are going to learn stop parts of our final pronunciation. Let's see how to pronounce them. Let's begin. App, app, gap, gap, egg, pack, that, tag, leg, jag, tag, seg, keg, hack, eep, deep, tip, nip, lip, zip, tip, sip, gip, hip, yip, it, big, pig, mig, dig, tick, jig, chick, sick, gig, kick, hit, yeet, it, big, pig, mig, dig, take, nick, lick, jig, chick, sick, gig, quit, quick, wick, yik, op, got, hop. Hi guys, I'm Sherry. Welcome to my classroom. 大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we will learn a new topic is numbers from 0 to 100. How do we say that in Cantonese? Let me show you. Don't think that there are too many numbers here and you won't learn that just within 5 minutes. But trust me, it's very easy for you once I explain this logic to you. And first, let's try to have a look how do we say from 0 to 10. 10 seconds, you could try to have a look by yourself first. How do we say this? Let's begin. 0 零零 1 ya ya 2 一 3 3 4 say 5 6 6 7 8 8 9 9 10 10 100 or 100 100 100. Now that's how we pronounce these numbers here. And trust me, once you can remember these numbers here and follow with the logic way that I will introduce you later, you will easily to learn and how to say that in Cantonese. And first, let's try to have a look. How do we say 10, 20, 30, 40, something like that. So we already know 10 to say some. Yeah, but how do we say 20? Let me show you. Try to imagine that 10 equals to 1 multiple 10 and 20 equals to 2 multiple 10. 30 equal to 3 multiple 10. Okay, we just done some math questions, but why we need to do that? Let me show you. Now this time, let's just have a look for the numbers only. So you could see we have the sign multiple, yeah? Let's try to ignore that. Then we will just have 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, 10, like this, yeah? Alright. And then we just say the number, that's it. So 10, how do we say in Cantonese? Or how do we say 30 in Cantonese? I will give you 5 seconds to think about that. Let's begin. 10 Yup, sup. Yup, sup. This means 110, okay, and means 10 as well. Okay, so now we will have 2 ways to say 10, but it's up to you which one you want to say. 20 to 10. 10 10, and this means 20. 30 310. 30 30. 40 410. 40 this means 40. Now it's easy, yeah? And how do we say 50, 60, 70, 80, 90? I will give you 5 seconds as well. Try to practice by yourself first. Let's begin. Alright, let's review together. 50 10 60 60 70 70 80 80 90 90. And that's it. It's very easy, yeah? And then how do we say 11, 12, 23, 41, 55, like that. Alright. And this time, we still need to do math question as well, okay? And then let me show you some examples. Let's try to have a look at the left side. 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright. This time we don't need multiple, we need plus. So let's try to say 11 equals to 10 plus 1. 12 equals to 10 plus 2. 13 equals to 10 plus 3. 14 equals to 10 plus 4. Okay, then the same thing. Let's try to ignore the sign, plus. And we will just have the number 10, 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, and 10, 4. Okay, how do we say this together in Cantonese? 11, 10, 1, 11, 11, 11, 12, 10, 2, 12, 12 means 12. 13, 10, 3, 13, 13, 13. 14, 10, 4, 14, 14 means 14. Alright, now can you get it? This time on the right side, let's try to say 15, 26, 52, 75, and 89. Alright, I will give you about 10 seconds, and this time you will try to finish them for me first. Let's begin. Okay, let's review together. 15 15 15 26 26 26 26 52 51 51 52 75 75 75 75 89 89 89 89. And that's what we learn from 0 to 100. 100, we don't need to learn anything about it because we already learned that from the beginning. So that's how we say 100. 100, 100 means 100. And 百, this means 100. And what we say is the units, measure words. So for example, 200, we will say 100. 100 means 200. And 百, this means the 100 units. Alright, it's very easy, but I will show you more later on. And also, I will give you another table here, and once you forgot how to say this number. And this one is easily how you to review the number from 1 to 99. Once you get used to say from 0 to 99 or 100, we could move to the next session. If you're ready, I will see you next session. 多謝，再見。Hi everyone, I'm Sherry. Welcome to my classroom. 大家好，我係 Sherry. First, let's try to review a little bit. How do we say 100 in Cantonese? 100, 100, 100 means 100. And can you remember, from the last lesson, we tried to introduce some logic way that help you to remember to say that number in Cantonese. And today we will still use the similar logic way to say the rest of the numbers here. Firstly, how do we say 123? Then let's try to make it easy first. Let's separate them. So the math question here is 100 plus 23 equals to 123. We just need to say 123 here, and that's how we say that in Cantonese. Alright, and how do we say this? Let me give you 5 seconds to think about that. Let's begin. 123. 123. 123. 123. Okay, once you know the logic, it's very easy to say that, yeah? Then let's try more. How do we say 178? 5 seconds. Let's begin. 178. 178. 178. 178. And next one, how do we say 303? Alright, I will leave the small question here for you. How do we say 0 here? 5 seconds to think about that. Alright, how do we say 303? You may say 303, 303, yeah? And actually, we will say 303. That's how we say that in Cantonese. 303. 303 means 303 in Cantonese. Alright, so once we can see the 0 between the number here, not 0 in the end, this means we need to say this 0 all the time. Because here you could see 0, this position represent the 10 integer, the unit, yeah, here, yeah. Okay, so this means we have to say that. To say 3 in the end here is the individual units. Okay, so that's how we say 303 here in Cantonese. Okay, if 330, we don't need to say the 0 in the end. We would just say 330, 330, and that's it. Okay, now we just figure out should we say 0 between the numbers here. Alright, then let's try to have a look at this new word. 1,000. How do we say that? 千 means 1,000, the measure word. First, let's try to say 1,000. How do we say that? 3 seconds. Let's begin. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000 means 1,000. How do we say 3,000? 3 seconds. Let's begin. 3,000. 3,000. 3,000 means 3,000. And how do we say 3,500 here? We will use the same logic. Try to think about that. 5 seconds. Let's begin. 3,500. 3,500. 3,500 means 3,500. This means 3,000 plus 500 here. And then how do we say 3,030 here? Try to think about that. Let's begin. 3,030. 3,030. 3,030 means 3,030. Now you could see the first 0 between the numbers here. so we need to say that's. And another 0 in the end, we don't need to say that's. And that's it. And then let's try more. How do we say 3,501 here? 5 seconds. Let's begin. 3,501 3,501 3,501 This means 3,501. How do we say 10,000? You may think that 10,000 you will say 10,000. Is that your answer, yeah? But in Cantonese or in Chinese here, no matter Mandarin and Cantonese, we don't have 10,000 these units in Chinese. This for the English way to say that. For 10,000 these units, we have the exact the measure word to describe that, like 100, like 1,000. Okay, we have the 10,000 units for here. Man, this means 10,000, the units. How do we say, for example, 10,000? 10,000, we say 1,000. This means 10,000. And then let's try to have a look. How do we say 20,000? 20,000, we say 2,000. 2,000 means 20,000. Why we don't say 20,000 like this, like the English way? Because 10,000 here, we have the exact the math unit in Chinese. So that's why we could just say man to replace 10,000. And then let's try to have a look at this one. How do we say 23,000 here? Try to think about that and give you 5 seconds. 23,000, we say 23,000. 23,000 means 23,000. And how do we say 23,500? 5 seconds, let's begin. 23,500 23,500 23,500 This means 23,500. Alright, and how do we say 20,500? 20,500 20,500 20,500 This means 20,500. And you can see the first 0 in the middle of the numbers. So that's why we have to say that. Alright. And then let me introduce how we organize number and the unit here. As you could see, 100 here, we have the 100 unit called ba. And after 3 numbers, we have the units 1,000, 千. And after 4 numbers, we have 10,000 units. In Cantonese, we say 萬. It's not the same like English formats, yeah? As you could see in English formats, we will use common every 3 zeros here, yeah? Okay. In Cantonese, we will use common every 4 numbers here. 100,000, we say 10,000. This means 10 multiple 10,000. Okay. And then how do we say million? Try to imagine that like 100 multiple 10,000. We say 百萬. Okay. And one more unit. How do we say 10 millions here? Try to imagine 1,000 multiple 10,000 here. We say 千万, 千万 means 10 millions. Now you could see why we use the common every 4 numbers here. As long as you understand the logic way, the rest of the numbers won't be a problem for you. Okay, and if you're ready, we will move to the next lesson. Thank you so much for your time today. 多謝，再見。Now, these parts, we are going to learn stop parts of our final pronunciation. Let's see how to pronounce them. Let's begin. Up, up, nup, lup, zup, tup, sup, gup, cup, ngup, hup, yup, up, tap, tap, nop, lop, dop, top, sop, gop, ngop, hop, up, but, pop, mup, fup, bup, lup, zup, tup, sup, gup, guap, cup, ngup, hup, wup, yup, up, bop, fop, top, nop, lop, zop, top, sup, guap, cop, ngop, wop, up, buck, muck, duck, zuck, chuck, suck, huck, bop, pop, mop, lock, zock, top, sock, gok, guac, ngok, hawk, wop. Hi everyone, welcome to my classroom. 大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we will learn time. Alright, last time we learned something about number. And then today we will use number here and to describe what time is it in Cantonese. First, let's try to recap what we learned from the last lesson. How do we say 10 in Cantonese? 10, sup, sup. And how do we say 26? 26. 26. 26. 26. And that's what we learned from the last two lessons. Today, let's try to learn some new character first. How do we say these 4 words here? I will give you 5 seconds to have a look. Let's begin. Alright, let's review together. 點, 點, 杯, 杯, 分, 分, 分钟, 分钟, and that's it. But what does it mean? Let me show you. 丁 and what we call is hour units. 分 means half. And 分 分钟 is the same thing, but normally we could say 分 as our minutes measure words. Will be shorter and easier to say that in daily. Then let's try to have a look this one. How do we say 5 o'clock this one? In Cantonese, we say 5点. So that's how we say 5 o'clock. 5点. Then let's have a look others. How do we say 3:30 here? As you could see, we have two ways to say that, but it's up to you. You could choose one of them you like. The first one we say 3點半, 3點半, 3:30. And then another way we say 3點30分, 3點30分. This means 3 o'clock 30 minutes. So 3:30. Now you could see we have two ways to say that in English as well, and the same in Cantonese. So that's how we say this. And then how do we say this one? 3:15. We say 3點15分, 3點15分. Now you could see the measure word for hour and 分 here for minute to use as measure word here as well. You could see it's very important in Cantonese when we use measure word, yeah? Alright, and then we know how to say this in Cantonese and we also know the format here. Let's try to practice. How do we say 1:10 this one in Cantonese? 5 seconds. Let's begin. 1:10 1點10分 1點10分 Or maybe you will say 1點10分 1點10分 and that's it. And how do we say this one? 5 seconds. Let's begin. 1:30. The first one we could say 1點半 1點半 and this means half one. The second way we say 1點30分 1點30分 And how do we say this one? 5 seconds. Let's begin. 10:20. We say 10點20分 10點20分 How do we say 12:45? 12:45 12點45分 12點45分 And now you may think that in English we could say 1:45, yeah? But in Cantonese we don't say like this. So let's try to focus on the very simple way to say that. And just say the number with units word and that's it. And that's what we learned today. Today we learn the measure word of time, 點, 半, 分, or you will say 分鐘. And we also know the format, how to structure that in Cantonese. Try to practice one more by yourself. Could you tell me what time is it now in your time zone? 而家幾點? What time is it? Try to think about that. And if you're ready, let's move to the next session. Thank you so much and goodbye. 多謝，再見。Now, these parts, we are going to learn stop parts of our final pronunciation. Let's see how to pronounce them. Let's begin. Op, bop, pop, mop, fop, dop, top, knock, lop, zop, chop, sop, gop, guop, cop, quop, hop, wop, ud, bud, put, mud, foot, could, would, oak, boat, poke, moke, folk, dope, toke, lope, zoke, choke, soak, gook, cook, ngok, hoke, yoke, de, le, je, che, she, ge, ke, ye, nut, lut, jut, chut, it, did, tit, lit, jit, chit, shit, kid, hit, yit. Now you can see that we finish all Jyutping pronunciation here. How do you feel that? And once you can see how I pronounce and listen one more time if you're not sure, and you will feel more comfortable how to pronounce our Jyutping pronunciation. And the next step, if you're ready, we are going to learn tones today. And tones will be more easier for you as we only need to learn the main 6 tones here, and that's all. Will be very easy for you. And once you're ready, we will move to the next step. Well done today. Jogging. Hi everyone. Welcome to my classroom. I'm Sherry. 大家好，我係 Sherry. Today we will continue our time here. What time is it? We say 幾點 in Cantonese. Before we move to the new part today, let's try to review what we learned from the last session. Last time we learned 3 important words. They are 點、半、分or 分鐘. 點 means o'clock for our measure word. 半 means half. And 分 means minutes for minute measure word. Alright, and then today we will learn some new words as well. As we already knew how to describe the time, and what about AM or PM? How do we say that in Cantonese? First, let me introduce some words here for you. How do we say these 4 words? I will give you 5 seconds to practice first. Let's begin. Alright, let's review together. 早上下午 下午，朝早，朝早，下晝，下晝。Alright, what does it mean? Let me show you. 早上 means in the morning. 下午 means in the afternoon. Here we could say as 早上 for AM, and 下午 means PM, kind of, but I will explain later. And for the next two ones, they are the same meaning, but just another way to say that in Cantonese. So it's up to you to say one of these. 朝早 means in the morning as well, and 下晝 means in the afternoon as well, or we could say PM, kind of. So this time, let's just try to imagine that there are AM or PM at the moment. Then I will explain more for you later. So how do we say 1:30 PM this one? I will give you a try first. 5 seconds. Let's begin. Alright, let's review together. 1:30 PM. I will say 下午一點半 or the second way 下午一點30分下午一點30分 Now you may confuse. This is not 1:30 PM. This is PM 1:30. So you may say 一點30分下午 for your answer, yeah? Alright, this time let me explain to you. No matter in Cantonese or in Mandarin, we have the cultural thing here. And we prefer to say something vague and then put something with details in the end. Or in other words, I would like to say we start from bigger range of something to smaller range in the end. So that's for our order. So what does it mean? Let me explain more. Now you may think that 下午 this means in the afternoon, yeah? So could you tell me what time you think is in the afternoon? You may think not just 1 p.m., but also 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m. like that, yeah? So there are lots of hours here. And then if we just say 一點30分 1:30, so this means just around 1 hour, yeah? Now, can you see that which one is in the bigger range? Which one is in the smaller range? So obviously, 下午 could be vague, yeah? So because if I say 下午 only, I am not sure you are talking about 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., yeah? So that's how I said bigger range or the vague thing. Then 1:30 will be more detail or the smaller range than the afternoon this one, yeah? Alright, so now that's why we put 下午 first, then 1:30 in the end, from vague to details. And in Chinese, no matter for time, but also for other things, we prefer to say something general, vague, bigger range first, then put our details or the smaller range in the end. That's how we structure the order in the sentence or for our language. And just for the culture thing, and will be best for you to let you know now. Then, how about let's try to say this one. 5 seconds. Let's begin. 7:20 a.m. 早上 7:20早上7:20 How do you say 8:15 a.m.? 5 seconds. Let's begin. 早上8:15早上8:15 This means 8:15 a.m. We finish our session today. Today we review the numbers and the time as well. And we also learn some new words here today and how we give our time with more details correctly to someone. And try to practice more and try to review how we structure the words here in Chinese. And if you're ready, let's move to the next session. The next session will give you more details, the final details that help you to speak the time correctly. Thank you so much today, and I will see you next session. 多謝，再見。